coronavirus isolation cooking show. It's Dave's coronavirus isolation cooking show. It's Dave's coronavirus isolation cooking show. It's Dave's coronavirus isolation cooking show. Okay, check out these mushrooms. These are some baby portobellos that I had in my refrigerator for about a week, and they needed to be used. So I'm going to show you how I make this vegetarian sort of meat substitute by just simply dehydrating and rehydrating mushrooms. And this I didn't end up using these for another week, but they did end up in a nice spring pasta with veggies. This is otherwise vegan, but I'm putting some Parmesan cheese on this. And it's just a very satisfying way to use mushrooms, especially if you're a vegetarian and you like chewing on your food. But we're just gonna dry these out in the oven, just dehydrating them slowly at 300 degrees. It's kind of hard to burn something at 300 if you just keep moving it around. So every time you smell these mushrooms and you walk through your house and you're like, wow, it smells like mushrooms in here, it's a good time to go over to the oven and just move them around. Make sure they don't stick to the pan. And they will eventually become very dry. You can go halfway with this. I often will just sort of like cook them to the consistency they might be like on top of a pizza. And just throw that in just about anything. Enchiladas. This is great for like lasagna or like a red pasta sauce. But yeah, here we're just gonna rehydrate in this vegetable broth, which by the way already has salt in it. I'm not adding any salt to this. Got a bay leaf and some thyme, and now would be a great time to put some wine in here. I would suggest a nice Pinot Noir. But not using it here. I'm just gonna slowly rehydrate this as this liquid steeps and reduces, and it's just slow cooking. This is a couple hours. Just checking on it every once in a while, stir, and eventually just the mushrooms will absorb as much as they can, and you'll just have a dry bottom of the pan basically. It starts, listen to this squeaky, juicy, beefy, squeaky, toothy. This is squeaky, toothy, beefy. And that's it. We just like turn that into some gourmet stuff. And it fit into a nice little cup. And end of story. That is it. Put it in what you want. That was a whole pound of mushrooms. Now it's a gourmet mushroom spaceship that looks like a little cup. And it flies all through the solar system, and has all kinds of adventures, and it has the vegetarians chase it around, and they're trying to kill it, and they want to eat it, and it's really scared all the time of the vegetarians, and they chase the spaceship all around, and it's always scared, and it always runs and runs. A spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying into outer space. A spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying into outer space. The vegetarians are like a race. They come from a planet called Vegetaria. They're like the only enemies of the spaceship. Otherwise, just nobody even like notices him. Almost invisible to the universe, except to the vegetarians from Vegetaria who want to kill him. Vegetaria. That's the anthem, international anthem of Vegetaria. Vegetaria. Whole planet of Eddie Vedder wannabes. They're all vegetarians. They call themselves vegetarians or Edditarians. There's a whole battle. There's like an ongoing, two different races on Vegetaria. There's the Edditarians and the vegetarians. and they're in opposition to each other. You know, all the wars that they've had based on that duality. So much backstory that you need to know to understand. Vegetarian! It flies around and just flies and flies around. Just so much flying around. Spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying all through the space. Spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying all the way. Going all the way. He's really doing it. Wow. And obviously it's 3/4 of a cup full of mushrooms. It's technically a cup with a handle on it, but the measurement, you know what I mean, you get the idea. Spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms. Spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms. The spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying into outer space. A spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying into outer space. The spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is flying into outer space. Spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms. Goodbye, spaceship, go away. Just flies and flies around. That's what spaceships do, man. I mean, that's what spaceship would be expected to do. That spaceship better fly all the way up there, man. I wouldn't expect anything less from a spaceship. Look at it go! Going all the way. It's really doing it. Wow! It's really going. The spaceship that looked like a cup full of mushrooms would be like flying through space, and it would become upon like other spaceships. They'd discover it, you know. I don't know, the lieutenant or whoever would be like, Captain, seems to be a cup full of mushrooms. Captain would say, that's probably what it is then. Just never mind it. Good call, Captain. And then they would just go away. It would just like, nobody would ever fuck with it. It just looked like a cup full of mushrooms. I don't know. I don't have anything to do with that. Which every episode of that show would just be like, someone would find the ship and they'd be like, and that would be it. But every time there'd be like some guy on the ship, some character, the one that everybody kind of hates. One of the characters. One who's like always just like, everybody's just like, oh, Jesus, that guy. And he'd be the one who like pointed out, you know, it's not actually, looks more like a 3/4 of a cup of mushrooms. That's what the spaceship looks like. Because it says it right there on there. I don't know, it wouldn't be to scale. It wouldn't be to scale. It would be huge. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Be that one character that you just kind of want to punch him. Well, actually, you know, in his face. Here's the thing about the spaceship. It's like, it's a cute little spaceship. It's just a cute little spaceship, and it flies around telling heartbreaking stories to people. It flies around looking for people to tell heartbreaking stories to, and it seduces them. We're already friends, you know? With its cuteness, and then it's just like meow, 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 meow. And then its little spaceship voice, and it just breaks your fucking heart. I feel like you could tell me anything. It tells you a story in your ear. It just kills you. Like, of course I like stories. Yeah. Well, no, because... Yeah. You gotta be kidding. God. Oh, come on. Where did you say you were from? You said you were from... No, never. No, you are. No, you. Are you kidding? I blaze. No, yeah, I do have some. I do. No, best friends forever. I promise. You are very cute. You are so cute. I love you. I love how cute you are. I love you. I love my cute little friend. Oh my God. Really? I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I said the spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is trying to
Does it have to be so gratuitously tragic? So bad. So bad. So bad.
Like a cup full of mushrooms is trying to find the right way. A spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is about to find the way, the way. A spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is about to fly into space. But the spaceship that looks like a cup full of mushrooms is about to,
Look at that cute spaceship flying around up there. That is, oh my god, that spaceship is so cute. We should totally, hey spaceship, do you want to join our cult? Hey spaceship, join our cult with us. Join our cult. Join our cult. Join our cult. Join our cult. Join our cult.
I would love to have you join us. This is my cult. It is called the Vegetable Pasta Cult. My name is Tony Primavera, and I would like you to join us in this cult where we make ourselves into pasta and then we are eaten by a giant. A giant. Enough of this. So I have to say, when I finally did put the mushrooms in with the other vegetables, the cup that I'd been keeping them in freaked out. It acted like a bird whose babies were being eaten by a snake. It freaked. But, you know, you just put the mushrooms in with the other vegetables. And I'm going to put juice from half a lemon in here. Honestly, I ended up putting more lemon juice on it right when I ate it. Like after the cheese and stuff, I was just like, this needs lemon juice. But vegetable broth, and we're just gonna bring that up to temp and finish the noodles in this liquid. That is all full of flavors. And maybe add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. But yeah, this is gonna have plenty of flavor going on. Just make sure it's full of delicious. And that's it. We put some flat leaf parsley on there. Cheese galore. Plate it up and boom shalaka laka boom, you guys. More cheese.